Red Rocket City of Steel is the name of Season 10, scheduled to go live this autumn following the Pitt DLC. Let me show you what's coming for the 10th season of 76. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Season 10 City of Steel is still months away, I know. In fact, we are about to enter Season 9, Dread Island, but with the ongoing The Pitt public test, data miners were already able to retrieve the new rewards Bethesda is planning to add with Season 10, scheduled to go live this fall. Now, City of Steel, as the name suggests, will bring mostly metal and steel rewards to stay on team. Here is the full list of rewards for Season 10, which I took the pleasure to Datamined for you guys. There's also some gear plans related to the Pit for the very first time, and lots of gear skins as well. Anyway, this is going to be a long video. I will start with new gear, player cosmetics like weapon paints and backpack Flair, then I will move on to camp stuff. Alright then, let's dive into Season 10's preview, featuring over 50 upcoming rewards. As I just mentioned in the intro, Season 10 City of Steel will introduce mostly steel and metallic rewards. Some of them are even the same or variations of new items Bethesda created for the Pit's environment, like for example this Union metal furnace, which can be found in many areas of the foundry, or even this Pittsburgh fire hydrant, which is, well, all over the pits really. Anyhow, before I start showing you the rewards, you are probably curious about the release date. So far Bethesda did not specify a release date yet, but recently they announced their plans to release the Pit DLC in September 2022, as shown in the latest community calendar. So I believe it's safe to assume they are planning to end Season 9 and start Season 10, City of Steel, in September as well, probably at the same time as the Pit DLC goes live, just like it usually happens with major update releases. Moreover, Bethesda always starts a new season every 3 to 4 months, and September will sync with this trend, so it's definitely going to be September unless something goes terribly wrong with the Pit DLC, and Bethesda is forced to delay things a little bit. Let's hope that doesn't happen though. Alright, let's start with the rewards now. I like to start with the highlights, and for Season 10, it's definitely the new gear, real one, and not just cosmetics this time. Now, the Auto Axe is a new automatic melee weapon for 76, and a very iconic one for Fallout 3 The Pit. In fact, I'm not even sure how is the Auto Axe here in 76, since according to lore, the NPC called Marco in Fallout 3 was the one who sort of invented or created this weapon, and it's over 150 years into the future. So hopefully Bethesda will add some sort of lore here to explain what's going on. Maybe Marco found some ancient plan and built the Auto Axe based on it for Fallout 3. Who knows? Otherwise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, this new weapon is pretty strong in 76. I have already conducted damage tests using a bloodied Auto Axe, so feel free to check my other overview for full in-depth coverage. I already did it, so obviously I'm not going to do it here. I will only go over the main points, of course. There are currently 4 mods for the Auto Axe from Giuseppe, the new Expeditions vendor. There's even a fire mod to enable healing with the friendly fire perk, so that's pretty handy. Overall, the weapon is a beast. It deals lots of damage consistently and melts most enemies in a blink of an eye, given the fact you use a decent melee build and legendary effects that match your build. Lastly, the Auto Axe is untradeable, and it requires a few specific tricks to improve its performance, such as triggering the hit button before enemies get close, or jumping around huge targets to avoid getting hit, thus interrupting your own hits. There's also this annoying bug while attacking, which deals no damage to targets, even though the Auto Axe shows as active with effects and audio. But I think this bug can affect all automatic weapons, not just this one in particular. Well, that's pretty much it. It's a strong weapon, but as some of you guys have been stating, it's not that much better than the minigun Shredder, but it's still better in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on to some more new gear. The Union Power Armor is another typical gear from the Pit, since it represents one of the factions there. Now, appearance-wise, this Power Armor set looks pretty decent, I think, with this rusty metal look, but if you compare the provided defense values with other Power Armors, you quickly understand that this new set is not going to make a lot of players happy, at least as it is. There's hope Bethesda will change it until this fall, but currently the Union Power Armor is a huge disappointment since it provides way less energy and radiation defense than most popular sets, such as the Strangleheart, T51 or Ultrasight for example. The Union set doesn't have any set bonuses or special effects either, so in the end there's very little value or reason to use it. At least it comes with a huge list of mods which can be bought from Giuseppe, the Expeditions vendor located inside the Wet Spring Refuge. They are quite pricey though, considering that farming hundreds of stamps is not so easy to do. Well, the bright side here is that the base plans are free, just like the Auto Axe. Plus, when Season 10 is over, players will be able to buy these plans from faction vendors using gold bullion, so in my view, it's not the worst idea ever to add the new Pitt gear to season rewards. It's just a bummer that the new Union set lacks endgame value, but hey, as I said, that could still change. Let's hope it does. Since we are talking about the new gear, let me inform you that the first paint for the Auto Axe is also coming with Season 10. It's a Fanatic skin representing another faction in the Pit. It comes in black and gold. There are also a few intimidating words near the blade. Kill and Buzz. It really looks more badass than the standard pre-war orange skin, that's for sure. It's like the original is meant for working and this one, well, it's made for something else, if you know what I mean. Here's an in-game preview from all sides. It's looking pretty deadly and fancy at the same time. And since both are free, the plans and the skin, I think a lot of players will be using the skin just because it looks so much better than the original one. And honestly, I can't blame people for that. The Union Power Armor is also getting its first paints with Season 10. Currently there are two skins planned for this fall, the Ignition and the Bare Steel, but so far only one of them is in the game files, the Ignition one, which is this black paint with brown strips. It's really nothing special in my view. I honestly think the original Steel Rusty one looks better. Here's a preview in game as well to back up my opinion. You can even see some white power armor frame parts or metal parts with no skin in the limbs mostly. Anyway, as for the Bare Steel skin, I think it will be a lighter paint with some sort of pristine steel, because it's what the name kinda means. But that one is still not done, so we will have to wait and see how it looks like later on. Moving forward, Bethesda is also planning to release a few Fanatic cosmetics like this outfit and two helmets. It's actually one of the armor sets Fanatic enemies wear in the Pit, in case you didn't know, so players will be able to disguise as one of them. If only Infiltration worked in 76 though, we could look like them and change the gameplay. Now note that this set comes with armor and helmet lights as shown in this Fanatic enemy in the Pit. Anyway, this Fanatic set comes with two matching helmets, one with a more Raider slash Wastelander feeling. It has a very funky visual, that's for sure, and the other one looks like a Marine tactical helmet. I suppose Raiders are becoming a little bit more sophisticated these days. Lastly, this outfit comes with lots of armored parts, almost as if this cosmetic was real armor instead. And the left green shoulder even says the Pit, so there's absolutely no confusion about where is this set really coming from. The next paint has a really strange name. It's called the Union Auto Axe paint for the Plasma Caster. I even checked the files to make sure I didn't see it wrong the first time, and nope. The description even says 50% Plasma Caster, 50% Auto Axe. What? Excuse me? What does that even mean? Now this paint looks very vintage and rustic with this sort of brown rusty texture. It's not bad at all, but I just don't get the name altogether. I mean, the Auto Axe standard paint is even orange, so I don't see how is this paint related in any way possible. Maybe Bethesda did an oopsie here and meant to call it Union paint only, because that would make sense and it would look alike. Anyway, let's keep moving. Double barrel shotguns are also getting a new Union paint. Now for this one, I couldn't find much other than the season storefront image as shown here. I guess it will do for now, right? At least we have an idea of how the new skins will look like. The paint features black and silver, which creates a faithful vintage look with a touch of fancy gunner all over it. I would totally use this one, but I don't use barrel shotguns, so oh well. Another paint coming to 76 is this variation of the Death's Breath paint for the Flamer. The original paint was released a while ago. I believe the existing skin in-game is from the Atomic shop, and it looks like this. Now, with Season 10, players will be able to unlock a variation of this skin for free. The core elements are still all there, the saws, the wires, the top barrel skull, and so on. The main difference here is with the textures and colors. This new variation is darker and more metallic than the original, there's no doubt there. I think this one looks even better, but that could be my biased opinion for darker stuff, so don't mind me. Alright, Season 10 is also adding a new loot bag skin, which is basically one of the new objective items used during the Pitt mission Union Deuce. I'm talking about the beacon signal source, which looks like this green briefcase with a beacon signal inside. It's actually a nice touch from Bethesda's part to add this item as a loot bag, since it's, well, a briefcase, a real container, and with a beacon signal which works like a GPS, so you never lose track of where you dropped your stuff. Pretty clever, I would say. Next we have the Skippy's Tool Bag Backpack, which is possibly one of the best backpack skins we got so far. There's just so much detail going on here. Keep in mind that Bethesda is releasing more Skippy stuff, such as the outfit and helmet from Giuseppe. As for Skippy's backpack, it's a very colorful backpack with different locked sections, a blue chest with a locker on top, and a safe with drawers underneath. There's also a water container and some sort of safe with a red button. It's definitely a very creative Wastelander item, so I believe many players will like this one. Talking about backpacks, Bethesda is adding 3 new trinkets, 2 following the Steel team of Season 10, and the third one is a little bizarre, as you will soon find out. There is the Union Power Armor Helmet, a Flair, a rusty steel wrench, and a broken doll's head. Yeah, that's the bizarre one, of course. Well, the first one is basically a miniature of the real Union Power Armor helmet coming with Season 10 rewards. So they just got the item, made a small version, and that's it. As for the rusty wrench, I believe it's also a miniature of the existing wrench in-game. Lastly, we have the decapitated doll's head, and I think it's a really creepy Flair to start with. It has its charm though. But it's also part of an existing jump item in game, so it's not exactly new. So in the end, these new rewards are just Bethesda showing how they excel at recycling content. Now, I'm not saying this is bad, but after you see all the rewards coming, you will probably change your mind about this tactic because, yeah, let's keep going and then you will understand what I mean. Moving forward to camp items, the most creative one coming with Season 10 is probably this radiation glove box, a high-tech device from Arctos Pharma to inspect irradiated objects without risking contamination. It's this tall machine with thick gloves and an interesting setting behind the glass. Anyway, this camp item is set under utility, and as to be expected, it will bring some benefits to players. According to the item's description, this item will grant a temporary stat boost, but it doesn't specify which stat or for how long will the buff last. I believe this item is not yet completed, since the references for the main file are pretty much empty, when there should be files related to the respective effect or stat boost mentioned in the description. Well, at least we know it will do something more than looking fancy at some corner of our camps, so that's great. The Pittsburgh Union Furnace is another great example of recycled new content. If you explore the foundry area inside the pit, you will notice that some rooms are filled with such Union furnaces. There's even a smelting area with liquid steel running through canals. Now, these same furnaces are on the way with Season 10 rewards. They are massive metal structures as shown, and honestly, I'm not sure they will have any purpose beyond decoration. The file itself labels the furnace as decor, and there is no indication of special effects whatsoever. Although I believe you will be able to interact with the furnace to open the door and then see the fire burning inside, just like it happens with the furnaces inside the foundry. It would be a waste if it's not this way, because the effects already exist, they are in game, so it would be a complete waste if they don't utilize everything they have at their disposal. Another interesting reward is the Pittsburgh Union Steel Shop vac. If you are wondering what in the God's name is that, well, it's an industrial vacuum, a new asset also present all over the foundry inside the pit. More recycled stuff, indeed. As to be expected, this item is strictly decor and it's not exactly small. Hey, at least you can show your guests that you keep your personal space pretty clean by using an industrial vacuum cleaner. Does it actually clean though? Nah, not really, but nobody needs to know that. I know I keep mentioning that this and that item are recycled assets from the pit, but guys, I can't help it. Like most of the rewards coming with Season 10 are straight up assets used to create the pit. Another great example of this is the Pittsburgh Fire Hydrant. The red version can be found all over the pit streets, however, for Season 10 Bethesda decided to add a retextured variation. So instead of the red, players will be able to unlock the yellow version for their camps. I believe the red one is a reward from Giuseppe, so that's why they came up with this second variation. Next, I have a few more metal steel rewards, the toxic waste pile and steel barrel. Now, while the first one seems to be a brand new creation, the second is another recycled asset directly from the pit. Anyway, both look decent, so that's the most important, especially the toxic pile. As for the steel barrel, it's a basic decor item really, it's full of rust and looks quite ordinary. The same cannot be said about the toxic waste pile. It looks rather unique and pretty disgusting to place at your door, but let's not discuss preferences here. Anyway, I looked into the toxic pile file and it looks like pure decor as well. I thought maybe this item will be another radiation source, but it seems unlikely unless the file is not finished yet, as it happens with some other rewards right now. Well, only time will reveal what Bethesda is planning for this item. The following reward is a very iconic one. Season 10 will include the steel bust from Fallout 3, the Pit. Well, it's not exactly the same, but it's a replica. It's also all over the buildings in the 76 The Pit map, and as to be expected, players will also be able to build them at their camps and workshops. I know it's another recycled reward. Oh my gosh, you cannot stop saying that, but at least this one has some history behind it. It's not just another random asset Bethesda decided to fill in, if you know what I mean. I think that at this point we could call Season 10 the season of the pit assets because almost everything is straight from there, just like these traffic lights, at least they can be used in many ways. Anyhow, I checked the file and this item is labeled as both decor and lights, so I do believe you will be able to light them up with power. Well, hopefully, otherwise there will be some really sad traffic lights and nobody wants that. Next in line we have the Catacombs wallpaper and floors, which honestly looks like a dropped reward from Season 9, Dread Island, which features mostly bone and skull rewards. As you can see, this wallpaper is really creepy with skulls and bones all over the surface, so that's why I think this one was initially planned for Season 9 and not Season 10. Anyway, according to the data miner Maddokgrot, the Catacombs floors are still not done and cannot be rendered right now. That's why I'm only showing the preview of the wallpaper. But both entries are clearly there for Season 10 rewards, so expect them to come when the time is right. Alright, we are approaching the end of the list, and a season could not end without the typical beer Stein reward, right? For Season 10, it's the Pitt Skippy Stein, which looks like this basic metallic mug with a yellow stamp saying Skippy. I guess this used to be Skippy's mug after all. What an honor to receive such a gift from Skippy himself. Just kidding, I'm not sure what's up with all the Skippy rewards, but hey, it is what it is. Besides the beer stain, every season gets the respective scoreboard as well decor too, and Season 10 will be no exception. Now I have already displayed the board in the intro, so this one should be no surprise for you anymore if you watched from the very start. If you skipped a few parts, that's okay. Here it is once again, and as you can see, there's lots of Red Rocket stuff on the board, City of Steel, some lines of text, and the board itself. Well, I kept one of the most promising rewards for the last slot, not because it's terrible or anything of the sorts, but because it's still under development. It's called the Pittsburgh Palace, and according to the game files, this is going to be a prefab for camps. In fact, the description even says, build your miniature city of steel with the Pittsburgh Palace. This reward is also labeled as structures, which indicates it will really be a prefab, no doubt. Sadly, there is no asset or anything visual to render yet, but perhaps it will be some sort of structure made up with the Pitt assets, like the metal plates used inside the foundry for walls or floors. That would make sense though. As per usual with every season, there's plenty of skin fills as rewards, and this time Bethesda chose to release a bunch of Union armor skins for 7 armor types: Combat, Leather, Marine, Metal, Robot, Secret Service, and Wood. The skins are all based on the original Union Power Armor paint, with this dark orange rusty steel as textures. Surprisingly, the paints look pretty great, to be honest, so I'm not even going to complain about the recycling part, especially because some of these armor types, like Secret Service, hardly have any paint, so anything new is a blessing at this point. Talking about fill rewards, the trend continues with Power Armor paints as always. Now Season 10 will extend the Union Power Armor paint to other sets. The same rusty orange steel textures will be available for 8 other types of Power Armor: Excavator, Hellcat, T45, 51, 60, 65, X01, and Ultrasight. Again, I don't have much to say other than it looks alright, it's not hideous or out of theme for Fallout, so it could be much worse. We definitely had worse in the past, so I say let's just embrace and enjoy it. Finally, while organizing all the known rewards for Season 10, I came across 9 player icons. Most are related to the Pit, such as Skippy, Hex, or Truck Portraits. I also spotted the City of Steel frame for Photomode, so there's definitely a few more things on the way. However, the player icons are not completed, the assets are not in the files yet, therefore they couldn't be datamined just yet. But fear not, they will surely come in its due time. After all, they are already assigned to Season 10 as you can see, and we are months ahead of release, so no worries. That's pretty much what you can expect from Season 10, City of Steel, coming this fall. In this preview we covered over 50 upcoming rewards, and honestly this season feels a bit underwhelming in my view. First of all, the name and the board itself is a bit deceiving. It's a Red Rocket board, but we got no single Red Rocket reward, like not even one. Then we have the other issue, recycled stuff, as you surely noticed if you watched the video in its fullest. I really don't want to be too harsh here, but with so many rewards being unoriginal and just a copy-paste of new assets used to create the Pit map, I think it's acceptable to say Season 10 lacks effort and goodwill. Sure, one can argue that they are new rewards either way, since they are new assets in the game to the 76th world. But if you think about it, Bethesda is just taking advantage of this strategy at this point. It's like they created new items which have multiple purposes. They serve to give life to the Pit map, and then they also serve as rewards to keep players happy. But will it work? I mean, most of these rewards are quite dull, just piles of metal junk. If they really wanted to follow this strategy of recycling new assets as much as possible, they could at least have given us some more interesting stuff. I just went around for 10 minutes to try and find stuff which would look better than what we are getting, and I instantly spotted a few, like this huge pot of poison goo or the metal walls inside the foundry. They look pretty interesting. There are even new funny wall posters all over the place, among so many other interesting items, like this beer glowing lamp on a chain. But instead, they chose to give us steel barrels, a giant vacuum cleaner, another fire hydrant, and endless skins using the same exact rusty textures. Well then, what else is there to be said? I think in the end, the City of Steel feels more like the City of the Pit, assets 2-in-1, multiple purpose item creation strategies at their best, but that's going to be it for this overview. Let me know what you think about Season 10 rewards in the comments below. Well then, it's time to wrap things up. A huge thanks to the data miners Bungo and Maddokgrot for their hard work on retrieving the images for the new rewards. And feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. As per usual, a huge shout out to all my supporters. You guys are the best. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Until then, take care. Adeus. Bye bye.